What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be doing a review and a top speed run on my 2018 Honda Grom. So I have had this bike for just a couple weeks now, and this is my first time really taking it for a nice ride. When I bought the bike, I took it around the block, ran it through the gears to make sure everything ran well. But this is my first time really taking it for a nice long ride. So I'm definitely going to be giving you my thoughts, my views, and kind of my impressions on this bike. And then I'm going to take it on the highway to see what top speed I can get on it. So I weigh about 215 pounds, and my goal, I want to get it up to 60. I think if we can get it up to 60, I'd be pretty impressed. So overall impressions on the Grom, it is a very fun, nimble little bike. One of the things that I keep on forgetting is it's a 4-speed, and I keep on wanting to shift up into 5th gear, so I feel that if it had a gear indicator, that would help out a little bit. It's very nimble, it's very easy to flick around, very controllable. It is definitely not a fast bike by any means. However, it's more than capable of keeping up with traffic. What you have to do is pretty much floor the acceleration in every single gear, and if you take it all the way up to redline, it'll keep up with traffic just fine. But between you and I, that's the fun thing about this Grom. That's the fun thing about this bike, is that you have the ability to ride this bike to its maximum level, and you're not going to get in trouble for it. You can floor this bike and redline every single gear, and you're not going to be exceeding the speed limit. You're not going to be going crazy. I mean, that's the fun thing about this bike, is you can do that. You can ride this bike to its maximum level and still be obeying traffic laws. And honestly, sometimes you have to ride this bike to the maximum level to make sure you're not slowing down traffic. So far, this bike is very easy to control, very easy to maneuver, it's very nimble, and it's quite pleasant to ride around in. So overall, you can see, I just got up to 45 miles an hour, and this bike gets up there just fine. One of the things that you have to make sure you're doing is really giving the bike a lot of throttle. If you're just cruising along in 4th gear and you need to accelerate, right now I'm pinning it and I'm dropping speed a little bit. So if I need to speed up, just drop a gear and disappear. Just kidding. But with this bike, you really have to maximize the gearing. And you really have to make sure you're in the power band if you're going to speed up, because if you think you're going to speed up when you're at lower RPM, there's not a lot there. So that's one of the biggest things with this bike, is I feel that in order to really appreciate this bike and in order to enjoy this bike and not want to sell it the first time you ride it, is you have to understand what you're getting with this bike, and you have to understand what this bike is. This Honda Grom is not a fast bike by any means. When you talk about acceleration, it is very slow. However, it's more than fast enough to keep up with city traffic. So it's more than capable of riding around in the city. But it is not a fast bike. It's not going to be good on the highway. It's not going to win any races. It is not a fast bike. And I knew that going into buying this bike. I knew that it is not going to be fast. So I did not have my expectations set as far as it being a fast bike. I knew that it's going to be slow, but the bike handles phenomenally. It is so fun to just flick around and go through corners, and you know, it's so fun in that aspect, but it's incredibly slow. So I feel that if you don't understand that, and if you go in thinking it's going to be a fast bike, then you're going to be extremely disappointed. But one of the wonderful things about the Grom is there is such a huge aftermarket supply for these bikes that you can customize them however you want to customize it. If you want to make it more of an off-road bike and put knobby tires on it and take it off-road, you can easily do that. If you want to build a show bike that with an extended swing arm and you want to lower it and put big wheels and all that stuff, you can totally do that. The options are limitless, and there are so many options out there, and they're affordable. Full throttle. There's 40. 65. There we go. See, and that's the fun of this bike. There's a saying that it's a lot more fun to ride a slow bike fast than it is a fast bike slow, and the Grom is the definition of that saying. Another great thing about the Honda Grom is the price point. I bought this bike in late 2019, actually the week of Christmas in 2019, and this bike is a 2018 Grom. It only had 1,300 miles on it when I bought it. It had clean title, no issues, and I got it for $2,000. So when you look at price point and what you can get, these bikes are very affordable, especially if you're looking at getting into the motorcycle game for the first time. These bikes are very affordable, and I had an existing insurance policy for my ZX6R. When I added this Grom to it, full coverage, it only went up about $3 a month. So these bikes are very affordable to own, very affordable to maintain. The engine, I did an oil change on it, and it takes pretty much 1 quart of oil. So they're just very inexpensive to maintain, to own, and to operate. Which brings me to if I would recommend this bike for a beginner. There's a lot of people out there who say that they would not recommend this to a beginner. God, it's a blast. Anyways, there's a lot of people who say they wouldn't recommend these bikes to beginners, but I would. I think this bike is very beginner friendly. It's very forgiving, very easy to control, especially at low speeds. When I first started riding about 11 years ago, I remember one of the things that I struggled with the most was low speed maneuverability. And with this bike, it is very easy to control at low speeds. The clutch is very forgiving, the engine is very forgiving, it's not overpowering, and the bike is very easy to control. So I think, personally, this would be a great bike for a beginner. Now, we're going to hop on the highway and see what the top speed is on a 2018 Honda Grom. The only modification is an eBay exhaust, and myself, the rider, is 215 pounds. So let's see. There we go, 46, 47, 48. We're in the 50s, 55, 56, a little bit of a hill, 57, 58, 50, oh, I saw 59. We're going a little uphill, so we're at about 52. But we have a downhill coming up, so we're going to see what we can get to. We're going to see if we can hit 60. Alright, here we go. There's 60. $65. $66. $67. $68. Alright everyone, so as you can see, this bike is an absolute blast. I think when you put together the price point of the Honda Grom, the performance of the Honda Grom, we all know it's slow, but it's so nimble, it's so fun, it is such a fun bike just to whip around on. So when you put together the price point, the performance, when you put together the ability to customize it the way you want to customize it, and the beginner friendly abilities of the Honda Grom, I would highly recommend this bike to anybody, to beginners or to experienced riders who are just looking for another bike to add to their collection. So thanks for coming on this ride with me. I hope you learned a good amount from it. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and I can't wait to see you next time.